Okay, roll call. Ed's here.
Mark's here.
Alan is here.
Bob's here as a guest.
Stewart is here.
Okay.
Okay, first order of business, approve the meeting minutes of March 6th.
I move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion, any comments, any additions or deletions?
I thought the minutes were wonderful.
Thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna be stepping down as the chair, and so I will nominate Mark Johansson as the new chair of the Water Committee.
Anyone a second on that?
I'll second that.
Any other nominations?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
And that will not be, Mark is officially still a commissioner.
I know.
Yeah, so that'll go down to effect till next meeting.
Well,
Exactly.
a little sidebar.
Oh, God.
When I was a commissioner, I was also chair of the Water Committee.
Yeah, but that's not the way you do it anymore.
I know.
And did you, as I look back, in 2009, you were the chairman. Did you keep that all through when you were a commissioner?
But
No one
no,
else,
Ken,
no one wanted it.
well, Ken Canning had it for a while, cause I know,
That was,
yeah, he invited me on the board in like 2016.
So I think that he became chair, I think, when I got involved with, the
Good
Friends.
A friend?
oh, the good court there, yeah.
That's when I backed off.
Okay.
Yes, okay, yeah.
And I know Ken invited me in, cause he said, meet us at 8 o'clock, so I was down there at 8 o'clock PM.
8 o'clock PM?
Originally-
8 PM at night. Where's everybody?
I remember that. You saying that. What the?
Originally, we did meet at 8 at the lodge,
Yeah.
and then we came here because Joel had problems getting up those steps. And when Bob became a member, we changed it to 8 AM.
7:30,
Because you were 7:30,
yeah,
because he was working.
yeah.
So that's how we got to
Okay,
here.
Yeah, you're going way back in time here.
yeah. Way back machine. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I hand over the chairman to you.
No, not till next meeting.
Oh, all right. System update, John.
System update. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, John.
Our total that we pumped up the hill was 746,263. The daily average for the month of March was 24,073. With a high throughout the month was 29,301 and a low of 19,807. Woodsville Water and Light gave us 334,586 gallons, which was 43.18% of our total. Bedrock gave us 71,050, which was 9.15% of our total. Then the infiltration well gave us 369,385, which was 47%. 47.67%. Accounted for with the meters we have in place was 96.27%, and unaccounted was 3.73%, with a residual of 0.28 out on the system.
John, just 1 second. Just as an explanation of what's going on. We measure the uptake of the water to the storage tanks and the amount that we feed to the houses. And what John is talking about there, we only lost like 5% in the whole process, which is really low. Some systems lose 15% of the water to just loss.
And we don't know if it's actually lost.
No, we don't know if it's
a
actually lost
metering
either,
issue.
but we can't account for it. But that's the reason we go through this in this sort of detail, just to see what, and we're still pumping well, everything's copacetic.
And again, we only have meters at our pump house, so we only know what leaves there.
And the residuals he's talking about is the chlorine.
That's
If
right.
if I can just chime in to what I think is important about those percentages too is 43% of that is from Woodsville Water and Light, which is an added cost to us right now. we pay for that water. So the more we take down that 43% over time, the more profitable or the more efficient of a financial system we'd be running too.
Correct.
Why did we take 43%? Could we have got by with, say, 38%?
Whatever the usage is.
It's very dependent on how much water is being called for at any time. And whenever we need extra water, we have to source it from Woodsville right now. And that's where that's coming from.
So it's
But to
always-
answer the question, we do look at that and we do shut down Woodsville on occasion so that we minimize the usage.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of variables on that, why we do it. Like right now, the infiltration well is working pretty good. So we did cut back on that, John, right?
Yeah, I'm running 20 gallon. We can run up to 30 gallons a minute on Woodsville. Right now, I've wound us down to 20, kind of just trying to sweeten it up a little bit. But again, there's a lot of, we get the orthophosphate. Woodsville is also chlorinated. Our system is used to that orthophosphate, and without it, we end up, we've had issues in the past that we can't point
We're not
finger.
sure if that's the cause of it, but yeah, so.
So really the question was, can we get by with using more of our own water rather than taking from Woodsville?
And that's what he said, yeah,
Yeah.
we cut it down to 20.
Yeah.
And in the high season, when we had the breaks and stuff like that,
Yeah.
we've got them wide open. And now that in the spring, the infiltration should be working, it is working better. When John gets back, we'll probably take a look at cutting that back a little bit more. But again, there's other variables in there where he's talking about the amount of chlorine.
Sure.
And John, that becomes a real challenge for him when he make major changes on that, because then you've got to really check your residuals and make sure that they're mixing in well and stuff,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
there's a lot
Another-
of variables on it.
Another reason we wanted to add that storage tank,
Yes.
because that would eliminate us having, we could just pump out of the
Yeah.
well, our own water into that.
Yep.
And we need it, we treat it and just pump it instead of using Woodsville,
Of
so
course. Yeah.
we gotta weigh the cost of that against what it,
Yeah.
what Woodsville costs us.
And another big part of it is run times on our pump, right? We have a 3,000 gallon storage tank. And if everything is wide open and running the best it can, I can put in 80 gallons a minute into that tank. When my main pump turns on, I pump up 120 gallons a minute. So obviously that tank does not keep up. So we try to keep our run times down. And again, back to Mark's point with the source tank, for storing raw water, we would have the volume of water we need to get a good run cycle.
John, were there any issues at all with the system?
This month, no, it's been, knock on wood, it's been been quiet, so we've been pretty fortunate.
Okay. Bob, do you have anything to add?
No, the only thing, why don't we, there is a, what else you got on the, we gotta talk about, Car Road. And we had that break up there and it was 18 feet in the ground. There's been some issues with the, homeowner, took and put a, slab where he's gonna put a garage and put it right over the main shut off.
And he knew it.
And he knew it, yes. And 'cause John and I had met with him up there, and he was gonna put the garage on the other side, and then they changed it, and he talked with the zoning officer and told her oh yeah, the shut off's over here. And it's a mess. And so what we have now, the only way we can shut that off is to dig down about 20 feet to the main and shut it off. And so that's gotta be a corrected thing. And the water tariff, I mean, my suggestion, and John, do you wanna speak to it before we get to the solution?
There's to get over this hump. I don't know if you have that paperwork I gave you, Bob, if you kind of
I
want
do,
to pass
yeah.
it around. So originally that property was, the curb stop was at grade, right above grade. And then the property owner extended his parking lot / driveway area, which would have buried that curb stop for us. Bob and I went over, visited the site, and we were shown where the curb stop was. The homeowner had put a roughly 5 to 6 foot piece of culvert vertically around that curb stop so we could still have access. And it's probably a 10-inch culvert or better, maybe 16, 18. Either way, you wouldn't have been able to stand in that and bend over down to get the cap. But at that point, did we have access to that cap? Yes or no? The answer would have been yes. We would have had to come up with a custom wrench or hold Eric upside down and have him unscrew it and then get a custom wrench to be able to exercise that valve.
Appreciate that.
And then,
This is
so Bob and I said, okay, well, there's a couple different ways we can do this. We talked about putting well tiles. 3-foot, 4-foot well tiles, a few of them with a big concrete lid that we would have access to, and then we would have access to that valve. Since then, during that last break, we were talking to the homeowner, and I'm like, hey, we still got to address that. Oh, and then I was notified that got buried. And when I mean buried, I didn't realize that there was a concrete slab for a garage, and that slab's got to be. Bob's got pictures of that. He can blow that up onto the screen for us.
I don't have my computer up, John, so.
Yeah. Either way, I went out with our tie card map, verified with the homeowner where the valve is. We've got I have a photo of a cone sitting on the slab where the shutoff is, and it is by far right in the middle of the slab. So the concern that brings to the district right now is if there's an issue, the district owns up to the curb stop, and if that has an issue on our side of the curb stop, that could create a sinkhole and possibly cave in that slab, or worse, blow out his retaining wall. There's several issues that could incur over that without having access to that. The workaround to get back to having access is
Hey, John, hold up for 1 second. That's, he's explaining what potentially could happen, but by our water tariffs, you cannot do anything with our equipment, and that's what he did, is made our equipment inaccessible, so.
which is
Go ahead, John.
tampering in our tariff. That is under tampering. I did give you that section of the water tariff there in that packet I handed to you. It's all highlighted there. So the workaround to get this rectified would be option 1 is to dig up at 18 feet down out at the street, and then we would have access to the corporation. Most generally, we never have access to the corporation. Once they're installed and activated, they get buried, and they're direct buried, and that connection stays on all the way to the curb stop. The only way to address that service is from the curb stop. So we've lost all access to that service. If we dug it up, shut it off, we could capture that line, is one option, put in a curb stop out by the road, but the elevation change is going to be immense in that amount of footage, so to speak, because we're that deep out at the road, and then we got to come up, so we can curb stop at grade or put well tiles in. At the end of the
Hey, John,
day, we would
that
have
option, you're still leaving the existing thing down underneath the.
yeah, let me finish. The issue with that rectification, call it, is the issue that we still have an active water line under that slab with a curb stop that we don't have access to. The homeowner would have to sign off on that, and we would only own up to the curb stop, the new curb stop that would be placed outside. And because of the elevation changes, we would have to leave that pipe, come right up, over, put a curb stop in, then back down to the existing line. And again, then you still have an active line under a slab. The other way to go, option B, call it, is come down the road 20, 25 yards or so, do a brand new tap and a brand new service all the way up to the house, which would be treating that as a brand new install, plus the work we got to do to get to that corporation out at the street and sever that connection.
So John, that would be a new service billed out at $2,500 plus,
No,
plus other things?
no, I think when we look at this, I think we ought to look at it from a standpoint that, like, this is not on us, this is on him to repair what he screwed up. So you just, he would assume all the costs incurred with this, which is gonna be
Either way.
expensive. Yes.
Yeah, this wouldn't be, that's not a fair thing for the community or the district to have to.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely
that's not
not.
fair. What property is this? Is this on Carr Road?
52
Yes.
Car Road,
Do we know the owner?
Ken
which is
Hewitt.
Ken.
Ken Hewitt.
Oh,
Does he understand this?
John and I had met with him and talked with him about it, and all of a sudden, next thing we know, there's a slab over the thing. So he knew.
can I just ask about the, the zoning officer and how that got screwed up?
So what had happened there was originally when Bob and I were on site to get that curb stop rectified, so we had access to it. The garage was going in a different spot. So then at one point, I guess, according to our zoning officer, the power company would not move a guide wire, which is an anchor for a telephone pole that was in the area where the slab would have been. So without that guide wire being moved, according to the power company, then they came up with the plan of moving the garage. So the garage got moved, and then obviously he had to have Courtney involved to move the garage. And upon site inspection with Courtney, I printed off a aerial view of Google Maps, which Bob has there. And I asked Courtney to show me the location where Ken had explained to her where the curb stop was. And Ken had told her that it was out by the road at the fence post, by the fence, which would have given us access still if that was correct. So Courtney took Ken's word, according to Courtney, that curb stop was out there by the road, and then the slab wouldn't have hindered that curb stop.
Courtney did not see that big hole that was already dug with a culvert when she first.
Yeah, no, the ditch was already, or our access to the curb stop originally was already moved. There was landscaping done with a new retaining wall. The lot was built out even further at that time.
Buried it.
Okay. So I would propose that we send an official notice to Ken with option A and option B and have him sign off on either one, and he's responsible for the cost of either.
I think we ought to talk about the options. I don't. Option A is a bad option.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's because he can sign off on it. Then he sells the house, and somebody else owns that problem. I think that problem should be fixed.
I think it should be a new service.
Yeah,
But, I mean, what does the committee think?
I tend to agree that exactly, it should be a new service.
Absolutely. And John, that means we would if we put a new service in, will we hook it up to the existing hookup eventually near the house, or we just put a whole new hookup in the house?
Well, the way it goes in, the way it enters the basement, coming out of that, going across where the garage is, where the new service would be. I'm not 100% sure if we could get onto that line going into the house, or that line would be completely abandoned and there would have to be a new penetration into the basement. And then we've got to do some, because when I was there talking to Ken last week, we had, I asked him, so what's that green lid over there? So there's a septic tank lid over there on the property between the new garage wall where it will be from the edge of the garage over to that septic tank lid. I do believe there's room enough to come up through that area with a ditch line and get to the house with a complete new service. I did not get access to the house to see what angle that existing service is coming in on. So I don't know if we could capture that or not. And
Okay,
unfortunately,
the thing is, that's not our problem.
Right.
That's his issue. He's gotta get an engineer or work with a contractor to figure out how that's going in. If we say, you know, you need a new line, that it's on him. We have absolutely nothing to do with that.
and again, with options A or B, there is option A. However, I agree, long-term solution, all connections, all pipes are subject to a lifespan. So that would be a ticking time bomb under a slab.
So John, say once again, what would we do if we went with option B? Option A would still be a live line going from the current buried line to the house.
Unfortunately, we would need to excavate down out into the road and
Okay.
find that service without causing any issues to the line or the corporation, and then we simply get to that corporation, shut that corporation off. If it goes wrong and the corporation won't turn, we would shut the main off out at Kingsman, if that valve completely will cut that off or not. And then we remove that saddle tap off the main line and put on a wrap that would not have a corporation on it whatsoever,
Okay.
which may be the way to go anyways.
One of the other things that, looking at, we've got an issue with that pipe being down, and it's 18 feet is ridiculous. I was gonna, John and I talked briefly about this, and, I was gonna get in touch with, Eddie Page and talk to him about going down a reasonable amount of, area, because John didn't know, and I certainly don't know, what the depth is. If you went down, say, 50 feet, and it's 6 feet where it should be, and then if you went 50 feet on the other side of it, and it's down 6 feet. So we excavate a trench and put a new line in so that we don't have that issue.
When you
And
dug it up, was it ductile iron? What was it?
That was ductile, correct, John?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think to get to the elevations to get down to where that pipe is at normal elevations, I believe you would have to go to just either below Ken's lot or right in that area, and then you'd have to go up to the height of land, right where we had that break, where the road is its highest. And then I'm guessing that doesn't come back to a normal elevation, till that next road, which I can't think of the next road.
Simmons.
Is it Simmons, that loop road that goes out
Yeah.
around?
No, it's
So
Ken's.
it'd be the south end of Simmons, I'm guessing, and again, this is all speculation, but I can't
It
believe.
is speculation, and and you said you can't read that with the new equipment, you can't get the depth out of
We
that. with the
can
new-
get a rough depth on that, and I'll expose those valves and see if. But sometimes if you get interference, like we learned this the hard way on Rogers Road, my locator was telling me it was at 10 feet and it was at 6. So that it was right there, but sometimes any interference above from power lines can throw that measurement off.
Yeah. Well, I think by looking at the road, you're gonna be able to tell where it should go to a normal thing, because where that drops down, then you end up down in that swampy area, going down towards Simmons. And on the other side, I don't think it's that much further, because that road, if you look at the house that's in next to that, it's probably up in that area where it's at a normal level. But we're not gonna know until we probably get some good readings, or dig it up and see where they're at. But
Exactly.
I think if you look at the crap show that we had with the depth of that in the crater, and then, you know, somebody called in, OSHA. I think that, you know, we that's something, it's a problem that's pointed out to us, and I think we ought to, seriously look at addressing that.
Are we bringing it up right now because if we were to do the work to the new line or the new service, I guess it wouldn't be us, but at the same time, we just ask for the same, the same machines to fix the pipe out on the road then? Is that what we're saying? Like kind of parlay the two?
Potentially, but potentially, no, because that's a whole separate job, and we
Yeah.
ought to keep that a separate job. And yeah, my take is that, yeah, I don't think we wanna, commingle.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it seemed like that was getting commingled just because of the way the conversation flowed into it. So I wasn't
Yeah,
sure.
Like, I would say, like Bob's saying, possibly do the new service down below, 100% new service, and then that would give us an elevation of the main out there at the new service, and then we could accurately come up with a better idea of cost to go from this point to the next point, and then we could do
Yeah.
some exploratory digging on the downhill side of that, going towards 112 to find out where we got to be. Then we have an accurate measurement of what needs to be replaced. And then the other issue is there's a little paper road that goes right by the 52 car
Yeah.
road residence that goes up top.
Yes.
And the map does show a line on there. Whether it's there or not, we have not put fingers on it or hands on it or eyes on it. So I don't know, obviously, if we have that pipe at 18 feet in the ground that goes up that paper road, that would have to be addressed as well.
Is that a loop run, John?
What's that?
Is that a loop run?
It's not, it would be a redundant feed if it's all working, but we haven't exercised any valves on that line. There's no valve at the bottom. Allegedly, there's a valve at the top side where the road dead ends up by, Davis's lot up there. We got a blow off there.
Yeah.
So that line would be an issue because if anybody ever builds on that road, we've got to have that line live. And the way the map shows right now, it would be a redundant feed for, if we shut that little section of car road off, we could keep the rest of car road going down that 2-inch line back to the 8-inch main if we were to have an issue, which brings our risk factor down.
Right, John, that's really not, that's great to know, and I hadn't thought of that, because I know you had mentioned there was a line there, but when we're doing the new line and we're bringing it up and putting it 6 feet in the ground, you just scrape in and see if that line is there, and if it is, you tie it in, so you still got that loop system.
Right, the trick would be the elevation difference, right? We're putting in a new line at 6 feet, 7 feet in dirt on the road, and then all of a sudden we're going by this intersection where that 2-inch line is. Now we have to dive down to 18.
Okay, John, wait a second, it's not gonna be 20 feet going up that road. You're gonna go up that road, and that thing's gonna be 6 feet in the ground. They're not gonna, it's not gonna
Well,
be
it's
that.
gonna be 18, it's gonna be 18 feet at the connection on Carr Road, because that's the depth of the main.
Right, but if we're gonna go to 6 feet, then you just dig up and you catch it at a normal, 6-foot level.
Wherever that line comes to 6 feet.
Exactly.
It could be halfway up the road, and at that point, it may make sense just to run a new 2-inch line all the way up to the top.
Yep.
Depending on where it came to 6 feet. Again, speculation.
Exactly, yeah.
Does the line terminate at 112? Does the water line, does it terminate when it gets to the Route 112?
Route 112.
112,
Yeah.
112.
The Kank.
Yes, that line ends in
No, it
on the
doesn't.
Bath Town line at 112. There's a blow off down there on that
But
section.
it loops, John, it doesn't dead end there. It loops through the woods.
It does not loop through the woods until you get up to Swiftwater Circle. There's a dead end on Carr Road.
There is a dead end of the car.
Yes, sir.
That's what it looks like on the map. I'm looking at our water pipes from the asset management right now.
You blow that up, Eric. Yeah, there's a blow off right by 112 on Carr Road, right where the Bath Town line ends.
Okay.
Then it does loop out around Simmons back to the main.
Okay, let's stay on the, does the board agree that we should look into the, replacing that line that's 18 feet down in the ground?
I would say yes, if we have in the budget and the, equipment.
And how many houses are served up?
Oh, there's a lot of houses served off of that, cause it, like you say, it runs down and it does, or it dead ends, and it dead ends there, but it loops around, Simmons and that road that, it's a paper road that runs, or a class 6 road that runs all down and around, so.
Maybe 10 houses?
There's, from there, there's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And a couple of 11, 12, probably 15 houses in that range.
What do you guys think?
So we're not gonna give this guy, option A, or we're just gonna give him, is it gonna be no option?
Right, the, we've already talked, I thought we decided on that, we're not gonna do A, we're gonna
Right,
do,
Should be.
just B,
or he became A. And,
yes.
Okay,
There is only one option.
there's only one option.
One option.
Yeah, that seems like the only viable option.
Yeah.
Well, long term certainly is, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so,
This, location, Bob, is this the same location in which we had the break in Carr Road, or is it?
it's the exact same location.
It's the same place, is it?
Yes, yeah, that's where we determined it's
Yeah, alright.
18 feet in the ground.
That's that's where I came up with a note just talking to Ken, and I'm like, hey, yeah, I know we still got to address that issue, and he says, oh, I buried it. So, okay, so I made a note, and now that the dust is settled and we had time to circle back around, I went over and confirmed with our tie card that on some measurements, and that's when we determined that yes, the valve was buried, and now here we are.
Alright,
At this point, is he aware that what we were intend on doing?
I told him that this was gonna be between him and the district, but I was just there to gather information and pass this along.
that's why he wanted to dissolve the district.
All right, so we're clear on that we're doing one, because we keep reverting back to it. We're doing, B,
You should send the customer B, question B, which is the only option,
right,
and replacing the line should be a separate issue.
it is, and that's what I'm trying to,
But they
Yeah.
should both,
we keep reverting back to that.
Yeah, for my brain, if you guys could just, tell me what B is again, and then, when that's done, the lines are a separate issue. I don't think that's on Ken or whatever to replace roads, right? So what is option B? Just the
Option B
new,
is to use the same connection that he's got right now and have the thing running underneath the, underneath, we'd have to put another, curb stop in there, tap it down there, and you would have a curb stop under his, foundation for his garage, that would be live.
that's option B?
Yes.
And we want to propose that?
no.
No, that's what we said, no. We
That was
cut out
option A. Option
That's option A. I'm asking for what the option we're gonna propose.
Oh, option, sorry, okay. All right, sorry.
option would be
The
B.
option B is, it's just gonna be a new service coming off the main line going into the house with a new curb stop.
Yeah, that sounds like the only option, right? Okay, yeah.
And there's no other options, that is what we're gonna do.
Right, and then the road thing is just on the district to figure out
Correct,
separate. Got it, okay.
We'll consider doing it at the same time, I would guess, right?
yeah.
If we can.
We'll look into get some prices on that and see what it is, because we have a bunch of, that 6-inch line down there, John? Sorry, don't
Yes.
come and see. The 6?
I believe, yeah, I don't have that brake paperwork in front of me, but I believe it was a 6-inch main.
Eric, you got that map up in front of you? Does it tell you what the, size of the pipe is?
Let me check. Bear with me. You're talking on Carr Road,
Our road on the
Right.
corner there.
right at the corner there? I'm not really great. Keep talking, I'll try to figure this out.
It's not important we know it now.
We've got, we've got a bunch of, 6-inch ductile iron over at the pump house that we could use for that, so.
What is the order of magnitude of the cost of this line replacement?
The order of magnitude.
50,000, 100,000? Is it a $5,000 job?
I,
We need
10 to
quotes.
15 would
10,
be,
15?
off the top of my head, and that could be on, that's a swag, so.
So something in the 20,000, 25,000 range should definitely cover.
Yes,
Okay. And then the homeowner's probably looking at 3 to 5 to deal with his problem, maybe.
I don't know, that's his problem.
You're gonna charge him another $2,500, aren't you?
And that's, that's,
Work it out. Let's work it out.
And then everything
We're-
can, how
we're-
long is his problem, then his house gets shut off.
cause we're gonna have to give him, no, maybe we don't, John, have you seen his, setup inside the house?
I have not, but what it's gonna be would be, if this is a brand new connection, it would fall under our new tariff, which would be a $2,500 cost for all the parts associated with that. And then we would hand off those parts, oversee the dig, just like we do a normal, installation. And then hand in them parts, and he would be on his own with those parts. If the district wants to do something on the tariff connection, then that would be up to the district.
The guy's a plumber, isn't he?
Yes,
No,
well.
he's a heating guy.
Okay,
So
so he
he
must have
does
known what
gas.
he was doing, right? He must have known what he was getting into by burying that stock.
Oh, there's no question in my mind that he knew
So-
what was going on here.
So, he's gotta accept the consequences.
His garage cost him a few more dollars.
Yeah,
Alright, so for the next week, we'll get some pricing on that and move it, and we just gotta, we're gonna have to let Ken know,
oh, yeah.
what we're gonna do. Maybe I'll draft a letter, and run it by the commissioners, because, as John said, this is between the district and, him now, so
Yeah,
And that's his primary residence, right?
it is, yes.
okay, do you have to vote on that?
You can make a recommendation and,
We just make that recommendation.
Gotcha.
so Eddie, you gonna make that recommendation, or is it Mark that's gonna make that recommendation?
We'll do a joint effort.
I didn't mean that. Okay.
I stopped hearing him after he said, we'll do a joint.
So the recommendation is to notify the homeowner of potential liability and to proceed with getting estimates on the replacement of the pipe in the road.
Yes,
You got that, John?
John went back to bed.
I'm here, Bob. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
okay.
Thank you for that new business or existing business. All right, old business. Recap asset management meeting on 3/18, John and Bob.
So the asset management is wrapped up. We closed that out, and we're gonna still be working with Abby and John to get our mapping tools fine-tuned.
We had a state here, we had, Abby and John, John Jackman, I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, what this was more of a thing to show what they did for the, so we went through all the mapping and stuff like that, so the state could see what we did. And it's just a final meeting so that they could sign off and, they could get their payout. But one of the things that they did, as John just alluded to, is that they agreed to help us out for the next 6 months. John Jackman's been working with, John, on an Excel spreadsheet that I used to do, and, John's getting a little bit more comfortable with that now.
Yes.
Yes, that took an awful long time. It must have
It's
been
the
delayed.
delay.
Yeah.
Is there a map brought up, published anywhere that the public can access?
No, not yet.
Should be able to produce
And, John, we've talked about that. We should probably put that on the next meeting agenda and really look at that because the maps are awesome. And they're available on, and I know Abby talked about that, about making them available to the public.
Yeah, I believe it got up onto
Yeah, it's on the website. I already did this.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can view it
If you just go to mountainlakesnh.com, scroll to the bottom left-hand corner right now, it says our water system. You could pull up the maps. I'm just having trouble on my laptop right now getting it to tell me the diameter of that pipe still.
And I
But
think, Eric, there should be a chart there, and that goes by colors.
yeah, it's a yellow. I'm just not. I'm not good enough at reading it yet.
Yep, no worries.
Eric, where do you get that on the website,
Scroll to the bottom left-hand corner.
on the main page?
Yep. Our water system.
That map doesn't tell you the depth of the pipes, does it? It just tells you the type of pipe. Is that correct?
Type and size depends on what layer she put on there.
So
There's
it would-
several different layers to the mapping.
So Bob was saying that the pipe in Carr Road he thought was, or one pipe he was looking at was, he thought was it 10 feet and it was actually 6. So would the map help in that regard? Does it give you the depth?
Map does not give us depths until we dictate on a break. Like once we enter information on a break, there would be and again, this layer wouldn't be available to the public. It's, we have documentation where the break was. Now you click on that break and that would give you a depth and pipe size.
We'd have to manually input depths, I think.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, on depths, if they did put it way back when, like, there was another one on, Kinsman that we did, and it was just, you could see, and it kept digging and digging and digging, that one was down about 12 or 13 feet. And what happened is it was just a ravine, and so
Okay.
what they did, they laid the pipe and then filled it back in.
Okay.
So, yeah, any of the historical stuff is,
Question.
Questionable. Yeah, needs to be.
I was gonna say crap, but questionable.
So I'm reading possibly it says 4-inch diameter on Carr Road.
4-inch?
No, I think it's either a 6 or 8 through there.
Okay.
Yeah,
might
it would,
be.
that would have to be
We'll
at
find out when we
least
get
a
going.
6, yeah.
It's just not it's not working for me well right now, so.
Okay. Right. So, yeah, the wrap-up meeting with them was good, and, we got, the extra 6 months for them to work with John was a bonus, and that's really good, and, that's a good thing for us.
Okay.
Right, thank you for that recap. New business, volunteer signups. So we have 2 new signups.
Jed's definitely, I got one here. Do you wanna join this crazy house or what? You don't have to do it now, if you want to, think about it.
Yeah, definitely think about it.
Okay, good. Well, why don't we sign Jed in right now? Do I have to do it or should Ed do it?
Doesn't matter.
No, you can,
Commissioner?
yeah, if you look on it, it says, clerk, commissioner, or
Yeah.
justice of the peace.
It's just for signatures. There you go, Jed. You're both, right? I wear all hats. Okay, just read that off, Jed, please.
Alright, I, Jed Acker, do solemnly and sincerely swear that I affirm and will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform the duties incumbent on me as a water committee member according to the best of my abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of this Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help me God.
Great, super. On me.
Well,
Thank you, welcome aboard.
Sign this, please, and you will forever be locked in. We know where you live.
So what's the responsibilities of being a member?
Just basically to try to attend publicly the meetings if you can, otherwise you join by Zoom.
Right,
But people that join by Zoom can't be part of a quorum vote.
right,
So we have to take the number of members in our, that are active members, and we have to have at least half plus one to have a meeting and make any decisions. We can have a meeting, but we can't make any decisions.
right.
So we ask people that if they're gonna sign for the committee, to please try to plan to be here physically, because that makes all the difference in the world.
Right.
Just in case somebody's missing.
It's the first Thursday of the month.
Always, and it's 8 o'clock, and we're subject, we can change that time if the committee wants to, right now it's 8 in the morning on every first Thursday of the month. That's basically it,
Okay.
okay? John, Jed, could you write here also, on the back of this, what your email address is, please? Yeah, thank you.
Where do you live, in Mountain Lakes, then, Jed?
I live on Valley Road.
Valley Road.
Right now.
Okay.
And your phone number too, please. And if there's a water emergency, you might get contacted. We already put a note out to everybody. No one's required to be there, but generally speaking, we try to see what the problem is, where it's at, to get familiar with things, like with this 18-foot thing. You know, wow, that's really deep, so we understand where the systems are, but generally speaking, we have our water service people take care of all that, and Bob always usually shows up there. And, of course, then John Mitchell is always there too, so.
Right.
But, whatever. Thank you, Jim. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, thanks, Jed.
Okay. That's that.
All right, our next meeting is May 1st. And any other new business?
One more thing. Glad you should ask.
Well, I have some things, but yeah, if you want to do that first.
All right, go ahead, speak up.
I've got 3 questions. You ready?
3 or
One.
30?
3, just real quick. Maybe Bob or John has an answer. Do we know when Novus is coming yet?
Nope, haven't heard back from them.
Okay, just in reference so the new members know what we're talking about, we're always searching for new water sources. So Novus is an engineering firm that should be coming to help us, investigate that. John, any updates at all regarding the pump house storage concepts or any new ideas or anything? Just still
I'm
thinking?
still waiting on a quote from one of the vendors that we have quoting on the work that we're actually doing at the pump house to get that little bit of plumbing redone. Then we can focus on getting better quotes on that tank install.
Yeah. So
That's
we're
what
just
Ongoing.
and just investigating. And then Stu had a great idea last time, like he called it a cistern or something for those fire hydrants. And I just wanted to, keep that idea going in the long run too, maybe. I don't
Can you
know.
elaborate on your idea for the hydrants?
Yeah.
Because what's actually going on with the fire hydrants is those were put in years ago, and nowadays the trucks require X amount of pressure, which we do not have.
Yeah. Stu had mentioned last time, I don't think you were in the meeting actually, now I think of it. Instead of totally eliminating, I think we're still doing the process exactly as planned, but Stu, I don't know if Stu wants to share his idea. I thought it was smart.
Well, you had mentioned that you were going to be capping off those plugs
Correct.
but not disconnecting the plumbing. So there's a potential for future use of those plugs if you can put them on a separate
But
water
we talked
system.
about putting those into blow-offs, so we have access and not a dead-end chunk of pipe, is what we're.
So you have plans for those plugs?
Yeah.
I guess I don't understand what a cistern is, sorry.
Oh, maybe Bob wasn't there either.
A separate water tank that isn't part of the drinking water system that could just be used to store water for fire suppression and feed those fire hydrants.
Okay, if we do anything for fire suppression, they're gonna, you're talking about a tank, and it's gonna be a pressurized tank then,
No, gravity fed.
gravity fed, so they would pump out of there.
But you had stated that the fire department regularly pumps out of a.
Right, and we've got,
a sump.
right, we've got 3 of those in the district now. And, my concern with doing something like that is that it's the draw that they get concerned about. So if we're drawing off of our system, they're gonna categorize us as a large system.
Exactly.
So
Well,
it's,
that's why you wanted to, I would propose to separate that from the drinking water system, because you don't need to fight fires with processed water. And you're just storing.
Unfortunately, our hydrants are tied to our drinking water, and you
Yeah.
cannot separate them unless you had a separate feed all the way from the chambers to those. And bottom line is, we are 17 miles of gravity-fed pipe on our system. We do
Yeah.
not have the pressure at all anywhere on our system to be able to service a fire truck.
So my understanding, and I thought this was just like a long-term concept, and it doesn't have to go anywhere. But what Stu had said was a cistern is like an open barrel that's collecting rainwater essentially, and we
Yep.
could put it somewhere much closer to instead of going 17 miles away or something.
Right, and then you have you can't. The state would not let any stagnant water be tied to our system. So if you wanted to have a hydrant or a pond area, a retention pond, or some sort of something for a fire department to get access to, which we already have dry hydrants. There's one at the lodge. There's one at the lake by the mailboxes, and then there's another one down by the pump house. There's nothing we can do to supply water on our system to the fire hydrant, period. We don't have enough pressure.
So the only option we have is to totally disconnect those hydrants
Right.
that are on the system.
right.
And what those hydrants are gonna become are blow-off points, so we can exercise our water system to clean out the system.
But we identify them not as hydrants.
They won't be hydrants.
They'll be blow-offs.
They'll be blow-offs, yeah.
They're inoperable hydrants right now.
The cisterns, a good idea, but if we do that, it's a redundant system because we've already got the other ones where they can just pump it right out of. And my concern would be, they say, well, yeah, you're not sucking it out of there, but you're still taking it from your main water system. So they recategorize us, and we don't wanna get
Are
recategorized
we
as a
required to have fire hydrants?
No,
When the original
What's that?
system was put in,
I wouldn't replace them, if you're gonna take them out, and put blow-offs in place.
yeah.
If you don't need them, you don't need them, right?
Yeah, cause we've got, the fire departments here around here are used to, wherever you go
They're
around
gonna
here.
pump out the lake anyway, or.
Well, if you look right down here to see,
Right on the other side, yeah, I think I've
that,
seen
that
the
white
practice.
thing pumped up there,
Yeah.
that's going right into the lake, and that's a dry hydrant where they come.
Yeah.
There's another one over at the lodge, and there's another one down at the, far end of the lake here. And, that's how they do it, and,
Oh, at the lodge, they take out of the reservoir that was
reservoir,
used
right,
for,
Yeah,
snowmaking.
and all the districts, fire districts, use these facilities.
you got
Yeah,
So
So,
Bath,
sorry, just for my education, then those dry hydrants are not connected to the drinking water system. They're their own entity.
They come
already.
right out of the lakes.
Oh, okay. So then you're right. It is a redundant thought to do that. I wasn't aware of that. I thought we were kind of eliminating all of our hydrant capabilities. So
No.
if not, then we're good.
That's it then. So I would thought it would be like a red, mounted, thing, but you're saying it's the white pipe that's coming out, Bob?
It's the white pipe there, and
Okay.
they've got a connection, a quick connect thing that they get right on there.
Alright,
Pump it
Stop
up.
water out, yeah.
alright, okay.
And a lot of times they'll pump to the truck, and a lot of times you'll set up a holding thing where they'll fill that up and the trucks come in and pump right out of that.
Yeah, okay. Cause I always thought, the hydrant is red, you're not allowed to park next to it, you've gotta keep clear of it.
Well,
So-
that's, these things, you're not
Right,
supposed to park around them either,
Yeah,
and there's
right.
signs and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah,
Ed?
Cool. Thank you.
Ed,
what?
we have
Okay,
a
so-
presentation of your plaque
I'm calling for an adjournment of.
No, this is gotta be done during the meeting. Come on.
Okay.
Can you take a picture here?
I can.
There you go, okay. Yeah, there you go. No knives allowed. But once again, for your faithful service to the district for all the years you've given to us, and I already talked about it, so I'm not gonna go over that again, but thanks for everything, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Hey,
Anytime.
gotcha.
Where's the gold watch?
It's gold print.
We do have the gold cake.
We have the gold cake, there we go. And who doesn't want
It's from the
Boston
War
cream
King.
cake for breakfast? Oh, we need a picture of that too.
Years and years of service.
Is it pancake?
Here. Oh, big hugs, huh? Here, hold on a second. Let's get this. This will be in the yearbook. You get to cut.
You get to grab the,
Yep.
plates.
Yep, plates and everything.
Good, good.
There you go. You're all welcome to have Boston cream pie, cake, whatever that is.
That's what Boston cream pie. I figured that'd be better. See, Eric, you should have come.
I purposely stayed home so I don't eat cake this early. I'll visit Ed later.
It's
I'd be glad to
Boston
bring you-
cream pie, so it's
It's like a donut.
I was looking at the chocolate cake and I said, no.
Hey, John, we'll put one in your drawer.
Yeah, no, yeah, just put it in, I think I got a jacket downstairs. Could you just put a slice in the pocket for me?
No problem, you got it. So if you guys wanna, sign off, you can, but, hey, John, you got more meetings today?
Yes, sir.
What time do they start, 9?
I got, well, yeah, it's 9 to 11, which I can walk into that one a little late, and then again, 2 to 4.
Okay. Are they going okay?
Going all right.
Good.
Cool. Thanks, John.
Thank you all.
Hey, guys,
Welcome
good.
aboard, new members, and looking forward to seeing you guys in person at the next meeting.
Okay, sounds good. You better be there.
Oh.
Feel better, John.
Well, thank you.
Later, all.
See ya.
See you, John.
Bye-bye.
Are we still recording?
Yes.
Cheers, Bob.
Do you wanna call me over now? We're done?
Better
All
be
right.
nice, Mark. You're still on camera.